What is anxiety? How can we deal with it? How do we ensure that we can set our goals and achieve them, live a healthy and productive life without being overwhelmed by feelings of anxiety? But first of all, what is it? That's what I want to talk to you about today in this session. This is day 20 of 30 days of mental skills, and as part of this framework, dealing with anxiety is an important aspect. Important for athletes, important for business people, important for you name it, whatever, in all walks of life, in all work, all sport, all performance, all normal everyday living. Anxiety, if it catches hold and is substantial and overwhelming, it can destroy not only our relationships and the stuff that we're trying to achieve in the world, our businesses and our work and so forth, but also our bodies. It has significant potential negative consequences for brain health. Neurodegenerative diseases can occur over long periods of experiencing anxiety. Has problems, can develop problems in our physiology with our heart, our digestive system, and so forth. So knowing what it is, first of all, may give us at least a basis for dealing with it. All right. So anxiety is, in very simple terms, our imagination run wild. At least it is for people in Western industrialized countries, the modern way of living. It wasn't always the case. Anxiety is a natural consequence of the anticipation of danger. And maybe from an evolutionary perspective, it was appropriate and is appropriate, but we tend to get carried away in today's lifestyle, and we're influenced by all of this information, by the media, by the newspapers, by the internet, and we can be led to believe that tomorrow is, will be worse than today. But even aside from that kind of broader social impact and the effect of news and so forth, in our everyday lives, anxiety can be debilitating insofar as you have a presentation to make in front of the board. I love that example because nobody likes public speaking. Or maybe you have a bigger room, maybe you're part of a committee or an organization, you have to speak on something, and that's daunting, and you feel anxiety at the thoughts of having to do it. Or maybe you have a sports event coming up, or maybe you're on stage performing a new show, or maybe you're doing your first marathon. We think about tomorrow, and generally we latch on to the possible negative outcomes, and they seem real to us, even though right now in this environment it's safe, and our imagination runs wild, and we become myopically obsessed with the potential negative outcome. And there are ways to deal with this phenomenon. But first of all, it's healthy and advisable to get ourselves back to the present moment and ask ourselves, okay, well, where is the threat right now as I sit in my chair and as I think about tomorrow and as I imagine that? Where is the threat? Well, there are no threats. There's no one going to burst in the door and kill me. There's no one going to stick their head through the window and say, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. That might happen. But it's not going to happen now. And so as I imagine tomorrow, I can picture it going the way I want, can't I? And so we can begin to have a conversation with ourselves about it. And we'll get into more on how to mitigate against the impact of anxiety, the long-term impact of anxiety. Butterflies in the stomach are natural. They occur when something is important to us and we're about to step into it. But there are ways and means we can deal with all that, and I want to get to that in a bit. But first of all, I want to talk to you about one particular study that I found by Severinsen and Pedersen in 2020, which looked at exercise. And they done a review of several research papers that looked at the impact of exercise, not only on stress, but on physiological health, brain health, and so on. physical exercise, strenuous physical exercise, has potential positive consequences for cognitive function. So when you engage in exercise, strenuous exercise, the muscles produce these what they call myokines or myokines, and these can decrease the rate of cognitive decline in healthy people, and also those suffering from neurodegenerative disorders. Physical activity has a positive impact on stress, the feeling of stress, anxiety, like I just said, depression. This paper reports it. There's a link below. You can click on it, and a reference. You can find out more. You can access the paper. It's free to access. They report other studies that show strenuous physical exercise has a benefit for development of language skills, faster reaction times, increased resilience, higher academic achievement, increased levels of intelligence, measured intelligence. It also has positive impact on appetite, on sleep, mood. It's a wonder exercise. It's not a fix-all. Okay, clinical disorders aside for a minute, and I won't pretend to be an expert in clinical disorders, but everyday ordinary anxiety and depression that most people feel at some point in their life can be mitigated against through exercise. I'd be an advocate for it myself. I think it's really important. You learn, your body learns, not only your mind, but your body learns to cope with difficulty when you actually, by choice, put yourself in that situation in a safe environment where you can challenge yourself. So important. Team sport is so important in this regard. There are also a number of perspectives on how anxiety arises. One is the neurological perspective. It focuses on the brain. And first of all, it highlights the important role that the amygdala plays in anxiety. When you're anxious, over a long period of time, not only about one topic, but maybe multiple topics, your amygdala lights up like a Christmas tree. And it almost supersedes your ability to think straight. So your executive function is affected. That prefrontal cortex, that area of the brain, activity in that area of the brain is reduced when your amygdala is on fire. Also, your access to the hippocampus, the activation of your hippocampus is reduced. It's highly correlated with learning and memory. So learning new things. If you're stressed out, you can't learn. If you're stressed out, you can't think straight. If you're stressed out, you can't. If you're feeling anxious, you can't access the information that you've already learned, what you know about this topic. So you might be well schooled, you might even be an expert in this particular topic. But when you're anxious, when you're feeling anxiety for a prolonged period, you can't access that information. If you've ever presented to a room and the whole thing is falling apart, well, that's what's happened. You become, your palms become sweaty, you get nauseous in the stomach, your heart rate increases, your brain doesn't work, you can't remember. All right, I felt that way myself at times, and still do, but there are strategies to help you with that. Also, there's dysfunction in the generation or production of neurotransmitters in the brain, such as GABA, which is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter responsible for dampening neural excitability. There's also imbalances in serotonin associated with anxiety and neuroadrenaline, which can lead to increased arousal, poor mood regulation, hypervigilance. Okay, so all of this stuff is going on. Now, what comes forth? That might be a consequence of how you grew up, the environment in which you grow up. And learning theory speaks to this idea. Also, trait theory of personality speaks to this idea as well. So the environment influences how perhaps the brain reacts to anxiety, to stressful situations, unfamiliar territory. And so you have what's called the HPA axis, the hippocampal pituitary adrenal axis, which is a pathway in the body that's been identified in very simple terms, which produces cortisol. And when that cortisol is high for a long period of time, and we're getting into physiological now, it has negative impact on things like your digestion. It can generate skin irritations, loss of hair, can produce heart dysfunction. And so managing anxiety is really important, finding strategies to manage it. Going back to the psychological perspective on anxiety, so the environment in which you grew up, how your parents reacted to stressful situations, you learn from them, and you don't even think about it. They're just automatic. Your personality, measures of personality within the big five, the Neo measure of personality, Neo is a PI3. The big five, the ocean model of personality, looks at what they refer to as neuroticism, or more better referred to as emotionality or emotional reactivity, how you react to situations. If you're high on these measures, there are facets of this major trait, and if you're high on them, it indicates that you don't deal with stress very well, and perhaps you feel anxiety more than most people. So these are the three perspectives that I want to forward to you today. But it's all well and good knowing perhaps how anxiety arises, how it manifests for us, but how do you deal with it? Well, I'll give you three ways. So the first way is through cognitive behavioural therapies, by what I've mentioned before, self-talk, and also mental imagery can assist in mitigating against anxiety. And it's not only, if you wait until you feel anxiety, it's too late for using these strategies. These have to be used on an ongoing basis, even a daily basis, several times a day even, in order to prepare yourself, prepare your organism to expect something different. So how you talk to yourself in the moment is important. Go back and watch those sessions on self-talk, on thinking skills earlier on in 30 Days of Mental Skills to find out more about them. Mental imagery, the pictures and the movies that you run inside your mind about tomorrow, next week, next year, about your prospects for the future, that matters too. Another thing you can do, as I mentioned already, exercise. If you're not exercising on a regular basis, you need to get off the couch. You need to get out there and you need to push yourself, and put yourself voluntarily into difficult situations, i.e. the gym, and work up a sweat, get out of breath. And if you do that on a regular basis, you're training your organism to deal better, to have better resilience to difficulty. Resilience not being your ability to withstand like a brick wall, rather your ability to bounce back from challenge and difficulty. Okay, so that's exercise. And the other one is, what was the other one? So self-talk and visualization or mental imagery. Oh yes, breathing techniques. So, for example, if you stop for a moment, find a quiet space, sit in a chair where you won't be disturbed, and notice, just stop and notice your breath moving in and moving out, and moving in and moving out, and bring your attention to that. There's no room for thinking. At least that's the theory. So when you consciously breathe, it takes your mind, your myopic obsession with the prospect of tomorrow, it removes it, and so helps calm your autonomic nervous system right here and now where there are no threats. All right. Meditation also, we'll talk more about that because it's a really important tool in the management of anxiety and the preparation of the organism for performance, whatever that happens to be. Whether you're going to an event that you'd rather not go to, whether you're presenting to the room, whether you're taking part in a sporting event and you're nervous and it means something to you. These three tactics can help you manage your levels of felt anxiety. I'm going to talk more about anxiety over the next couple of days. On day 21, let me just go to my drafts here. Let's see what's coming up. Day 20, that's today. Day 21, going to talk a little bit more about stress. We're going to talk about dispositional stress. Going to talk about stress in the environment. We're going to talk about burnout as well, because stress can lead to burnout. These are all related terms, but they're distinct, so we can talk about them separately. And then day 22, what have I got for you then? I think I'll talk more about the strategies that you can implement. All right, so that's all I've got for you on anxiety for now. It exists. Find a way to deal with it. Find a way to cope with it. There are methods out there. If you struggle to do it on your own, reach out and maybe I can help you. There are other professionals that can help you too. And I'll be back tomorrow with another session. So until then, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. If you have anything to say, good, bad, or indifferent, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. That's all I've got for you for now. All right, take it easy. See you later.